This young man was murdered over French fries. Let's take a look at this story.
Accused of killing a friend after a disagreement over food is now in custody 2 weeks after the shooting.
Lemarques Darden Jr. is accused of shooting Jarvis Davis at a Fort Worth apartment after Davis would not share his French fries. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the victim's mom today. Peyton.
Steve, and multiple people witnessed this shooting inside of an apartment, including children. So Fort Worth police tell me they were confident in who they were looking for. We now know this 18-year-old suspect was tracked down all the way to Tyler, Texas. That's about 140 miles away from Fort Worth. He was tracked down to a hotel. Fort Worth police tell me it's possible he has family in that area, but he's now back in North Texas. That suspect is at the Tarrant County Jail tonight.
It's so senseless.
Senseless. That's how Sharika Kennedy describes the murder of her son.
Why? Now that's the question. Why? No, my baby was probably genuinely his friend. My baby wasn't expecting him to shoot him. Everybody in the house was like, they thought he was joking about the fries.
19-year-old Jarvis Davis shot and killed inside this West Fort Worth apartment near Camp Bowie and 820 back on January 28th. Witnesses told police a group just got back from grabbing food at Wingstop when there was an argument. Investigators say Davis didn't share his fries with the suspect, later identified as 18-year-old Lemarques Darden.
My son's girlfriend was laying on his lap at the time of it, and she said she just heard a glass break. A gunshot and a glass break.
Fort Worth police say Darden pulled out a handgun, shot Davis in the head, and took off from the complex. He was tracked down nearly 2 weeks later. Kennedy, a mother of 8, now with a missing piece in her family and frustrated, considering she says her son and Darden were friends.
How it happened is just, I'm never going to be okay with it. I'm never going to be okay with it.
And Darden transferred to the Tarrant County Jail yesterday. He is charged with murder. This evening, we reached out to his attorney. They got back to us. The attorney tells us he's not ready to make a public statement at this time.
An 18-year-old accused of killing a friend after a disagreement over food is now in custody 2 weeks after the shooting.
Okay, guys, so what we have here is just another senseless crime of violence that is going on with these young men. All of this is over French fries. You have Jarvis Davis shot dead by his own friend. His own friend, Lemarques Darden, because he did not want to share French fries. Senseless crime, guys. It is said that Davis was just kind of chilling. His girlfriend was laying her head in his lap. Next minute, she heard a glass break and a shot over fries. And this is how bad it is in society, guys, where people are literally losing their lives over things that it makes no sense. Imagine being killed over French fries because he didn't want to share it. So you decide to take his life. And this is what's happening in the community. Stuff got to stop, guys. Absolutely. It makes no sense, man. Out of all the things people going through, out of all the things that you can put together, a young man loses his life over fries. And now it took them about 2 weeks to find this guy, which is even more crazy because you would have thought that people that was there that saw what took place would have told them exactly where he is. But I guess everybody was quiet about the story. So now let's kind of break this thing down, guys, and see what we could get from this particular story here.
An 18-year-old accused of killing a friend after a disagreement over food is now in custody 2 weeks after the shooting.
Lemarques Darden Jr. is accused of shooting Jarvis Davis at a Fort Worth apartment after Davis would not share his French fries.
So, Jarvis did not want to share his French fries. Darden decided to say, you know what? Since you don't want to share your French fries, I think that it's best that you die. If people are killing each other over French fries, guys, we're living in a bad time. We're living in a horrible time where the value of fries is more precious and more important than your life. That's where we are right now. French fries. Some of you are probably like, you're just shaking your head at this particular story because you're like, I can't believe this. Is this really real, Ringo? This is a real story, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the victim's mom today. Peyton.
Steve, and multiple people witnessed this shooting inside of an apartment, including children. So Fort Worth police tell me they were confident in who they were looking for.
So they knew who exactly they were looking for. The crime took place around children, other teens that were there. Everybody's in their late teens. And this senseless crime was done over food. It is said that everybody went out to a wings store where they got some wings, probably got some fries, and maybe based on the story, it could be possible that, Darden probably couldn't buy anything. He probably didn't have no money, and Davis was able to get his wings and fries. He probably said, hey, bro, could I get some fries? And Davis probably was like, yo, man, you got to go get your own, bro. I'm hungry. And, they probably had company over. He was there with possibly alleged his girlfriend. And he decides to shoot him in the head and then flee. And it took them about 2 weeks to pretty much find where he was hiding. Let's go.
We now know this 18-year-old suspect was tracked down all the way to Tyler, Texas. That's about
Tyler, Texas, guys. How far is it?
140 miles away.
140 miles away. So once he committed the violent act, he most likely probably got the help of other family members, because if you killed this young man, you just don't jump in a car and flee. So you had to have family members that was assisting him in this particular crime, possibly to harbor him somewhere, keep him in a safe place until things cool down. But there's always somebody that know where you are, and they're gonna pretty much let the authorities know who you staying with.
From Fort Worth, he was tracked down to a hotel. Fort Worth police tell me it's possible he has family in that area.
And that's exactly what it was, guys. He may have been at the hotel, but he had to have had family members that were possibly assisting him, probably giving him money. They probably put him up in the hotel so that he don't stay by their house. In other words, hey, bro, we're family, we're blood. I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to give you a few dollars. You can go stay at the hotel, but I can't let you stay by my house because I don't want them to come, arrest us if we're involved in any type of cover-up or some sort of, illegal activity. And I think that's what went down. Somebody was funding his hotel stay. Let's go.
He's now back in North Texas. That suspect is at the Tarrant County Jail tonight.
It's so senseless.
Senseless. That's how Sharika Kennedy describes the murder of her son.
Why? Now, that's the question. Why? No,
Well, the why is over fries. That's the why. We know why. We know why. It's over French fries. The issue at this point is not the why, but actually it's senseless. It makes no sense. He shot him over French fries, not over someone harming him, some violent situation you had to defend yourself. You're killing an individual over some fries. the fries had more value than his friend. He never valued his friend. And that's the issue. He didn't value him.
Baby was probably genuinely his friend. My baby wasn't expecting him to shoot him. Everybody in the house was like, they thought he was joking about the fries.
19-year-old Jarvis Davis shot and killed inside this West Fort Worth apartment near Camp Bowie in 820.
So in this particular apartment, it was a bunch of teens there hanging out, having a good time, went and got some food, came back. One of them didn't have no money. He probably just popped up in the house. Hey, let me get some fries. Someone said no. And then they thought everything was jokes. But the dude was not joking. He was really upset with the fact that he probably was hungry, probably, had a lot going on in his mind. And, this is the thing about a lot of the youth in today's day, especially in the Black community. It's a lot of violence, a lot of hate, a lot of crime that is going on. And it seemed like when you try to talk about these issues, people get upset with you as if though you are condemning people. And that's not the case. The case here is some young men decide to unalive another man over some French fries. That's going to look pretty crazy in the penitentiary. Why are you in here? Oh, I killed somebody over French fries. Not over anything that is okay. I get why you did that, but over French fries. I mean, every day there's always a story that just make you shake your head like, wow.
On January 28th, witnesses told police a group just got back from grabbing food at Wingstop when there was an argument.
So they went to Wingstop. Everybody that had money to buy their food bought what they had. So it would be safe to assume, guys, based on the story, that Darden was not with the group. It would be safe to say that. He most likely was not with the group. When they got back to the apartment, they probably ran into some other friends. They probably tagged along. He probably went to the apartment with the group. Everybody's eating, everybody's having a good time. He probably told Davis, hey, let me get some fries. Davis probably told him, no, go get your own. One of them type of things. Now, I don't know the exact location of this apartment complex, but it could be in the hood. And it's probably one of them type of situations where it's like, look, if we in the hood and we struggling, you got to share the food. And the other dude, he just crashed out over some French fries, which is just sickening. It didn't even make any sense, man. It's like, damn, you just threw away your life. You threw away your freedom over French fries. It can't get any crazier than that.
Investigators say Davis didn't share his fries with the suspect, later identified as 18-year-old Lemarques Darden.
You could just look at this guy and tell that he got problems. You could look at his eyes and see he's not wrapped too tight. Something's wrong with him. You don't need friends like this, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, this is why rolling solo is the best thing you can do. When you're hanging around too many people, that is how you get yourself in trouble.
My son's girlfriend was laying on his lap at the time.
So she was laying on him at the time.
And she said she just heard a glass break, a gunshot and a glass break.
A glass drop, gunshots, all of that type of stuff. So basically when he got shot, it went through some sort of glass at the same time, and that's what made her jump up. Now, what's crazy about the story is he could have unalived everybody that was in that house and then stole the chicken and the fries. But for whatever reason, this was personal. So was it really over the fries or was it over something else? And the fries sort of made Darden crash out. You know what I mean? Because these young men, I just don't get it in today's day, man. I don't get it. Darden and Davis had their whole life ahead of them. These are young men, 18, 19, and would put themselves in a situation like this. And again, we talked about in our last video about women choosing the right kind of man to be with. The same thing apply, guys, when it comes to friendships. You got to have the right kind of people in your circle. You just can't be around people just because you grew up in the same neighborhood and these people do not have your best interests at heart. You got to get away from people that are no good, fam. I don't want to have nobody at my house that have the potential to try to unalive me or my family because they don't like something. That's like somebody's asking you for help. Hey, brother, I'm going through this. Could you help me out? And you say no because you don't got it. And then they want to harm you physically because you did not help them. That's crazy, man. And a lot of times we experience people that they asked us for something. They came to us. They came to our house and we had to let them down because we really just didn't have it. We didn't have it. And it's like, they did not want to take no for an answer. So it's almost like, look, if I'm struggling, if I'm going through and you can't help me, then hey, I'm going to take you out. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. Darden decided, hey, you know what? Since I can't have none of these fries, Davis, I'm going to end your life so you can't eat no more fries. That's crazy.
Worth police say Darden pulled out a handgun, shot Davis in the head, and took off from the complex.
Shot him in the head, took off from the complex, and he was out. The last thing Davis knew is that he was eating and enjoying some French fries before the devil came in Darden and ended his world. Over French fries, ladies and gentlemen. This senseless, diabolical murder was over fries. Over fries.
He was tracked down nearly 2 weeks later. Kennedy, a mother of 8.
A mother of 8. A mother of 8 kids, man. Wow. 8 kids she have. Now she's missing 1 because of this senseless act.
With a missing piece in her family and frustrated, considering she says her son and Darden were friends.
This is why you cannot assume everybody that is with you is your friend, guys. Everybody is not your friend. They're not.
How it happened is just, I'm never going to be okay with it. I'm never going to be okay with it.
And Darden transferred to the Tarrant County Jail yesterday. He is charged with murder. This evening, we reached out to his attorney. They got back to us. The attorney tells us he's not ready to make a public statement at this time.
Well, of course he's not going to have a public statement at this time because look at what was done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is no need for an attorney to represent a young man who is a murderer. We don't even need to waste taxpayer dollars on any of this stuff. We don't even need to put him in prison. It's like stuff like this. If you kill somebody in senseless crimes like this, there should be the death penalty. No time given, life for life. It is what it is, guys, at this point. Because it's like, man, Davis had his whole life together, was hanging around the wrong people. Again, it goes back to the things that I talk about, guys. Having the wrong groups around you can harm you. What could we learn from these videos? When you look at these videos, guys, when I break these videos down and I provide my professional expert opinion, what could we learn from this situation? Well, the first thing we need to learn is the company we keep. We got to keep our circles small. We got to make sure that we have the right kind of people that have our best interests at heart. If people don't add value to your life, you need to let those people go. If you find that people are being hostile around you because of material possessions or because they can't get something from you, and they start to treat you a certain way because they can't get something from you, that is when you need to sever that relationship, because that person is up to no good. You have to recognize the signs and recognize when it's time to go. So that being said, guys, rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you enjoy the stream, be sure to hype the video, like the video, and tell a friend about what we're doing over here. I'll catch you in the next video. We out of here, guys. Peace.